time. Well, hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Jake Hilton, and you haven't been hearing me this entire time, but that's all right. It is technical issues. We got those worked out. Thank you so much, Muaji, for that. And Evo side, oh no, muted. Yes, unfortunately, Evo side, I do believe those emotes are still pending. Yes, we'll have to wait until Thursday or maybe even next Tuesday before they come through. There you go. Welcome to the Excellency Scrim Gym week number 7. Introductions were slightly failed, but I'll go ahead and reintroduce Cherry Blossom Knights because we did get smartest on the Parallax Gaming side of things.
Right.
So,
they could hear me.
yes, for the Cherry Blossom Knights, Jeremy flipping the top lane, Dive into the jungle, heal it up in the mid lane, Cat and the other carry, and XD me as the support. So locking all of those in. We're straight into pick some bands, and I am excited to see Parallax Gaming, who ended up being the second place team last week, take on Cherry Blossom Knights, who ended up being the 4th seed team, or 4th place team, after losing to Sway GG in the 3rd place game of the night. We've got ourselves already through the ban phase. Vladimir Sejuani, KL banned away by Cherry Blossom Knights, and the Aurelia, Evelyn, and Gangplank taken away by Parallax Gaming.
Yeah, tons of bans put on the top side. We have 4 bans thrown towards the top, 2 bans on the jungle, mid in the bot lanes being left alone at the moment as the Sivir gets locked in first. Looks like might be responded with a Yuumi, which I really like. I think Yuumi works really well with Xayah. And that's usually a little bit more unconventional. Typically, you tend to see something more like Draven, Caitlyn, more aggressive laners that can utilize Yuumi really well. But into Sivir, decided, you know what, we're going to go for the Xayah pick. I'm expecting for Cherry Blossom Knights to retaliate with most likely a support and jungle pick up here, trying to leave the solo laners. Unless there's a contested top lane pick, what we most likely would have seen that already, as the Pyke does get locked in. Keep in mind, everyone, Pyke in the lane was nerfed pretty hard, so this will most likely be Pyke in the support role. He was just changed a little bit last patch. He gets a little bit more gold out of assists when he utilizes the ultimate. So definitely tending to see a little bit more of him after Riot kind of nerfed him into the ground, as the Mordekaiser gets locked in next by Cherry Blossom Knights. A super powerful champion right now. Even though Riot touched him a little bit, he's still really, really strong. He's still picked a lot in high elo. Fiora is a wonderful retaliation to that Mordekaiser pick. A fun little fact I found out recently is Mordekaiser's ultimate was actually what the reworked Fiora's ultimate was going to be, where you were teleported to an outside distance or a 1v1 duelist situation. As a Yasuo gets banned by Parallax Gaming. What are your thoughts on that, Jake? All these sort of bruiser meta bans coming in right now.
I like it because bruisers usually mean lots of team fighting, and team fights are super exciting. Mordekaiser, not as fun to cast because he just disappears into a little bit of a 1v1. However, if he gets snowballing, he can be very exciting as he smashes his way through the enemy team. However, the opposite can happen very easily as well, in that if he doesn't get that snowballing, usually that 1v1 is still going to flip the coin to the other side, and it's going to be the other person that defeats them more often than not. However, something to note, if Mordekaiser is able to section off Yuumi on the enemy team, there's really not a whole lot that will be War Monks playing that Yuumi, because we should be in LCS standard positioning. War Monk should be able to do to stop from dying, because it's going to be a Mordekaiser versus a cat on a book. However, if Yuumi stays tethered and is very safe during those team fights, the mid to late game team fights shouldn't be as big of a deal. We'll keep our eyes on who Heal It Up decides to hit and send it to the Spirit Realm. Last couple bans coming through. A couple more junglers being knocked away. That Xin Zhao and Jarvan being taken off, as both of them are still pretty potent in the jungle, and that means that Skarner is left up and available, and Parallax Gaming say, you know what, let's grab ourselves the Scorpion, get that Impale, targeting one individual person, maybe not going for the Sivir because of her built-in spell shield, but Mordekaiser and Pyke, still good choices there to kind of section off early, and that leaves the Sylas, who's been still tearing it up in solo queue and showing up in pro scene with the jungle for Cherry Blossom Knights.
Yeah, I don't actually agree with the Scrunner pick a lot. When you lock in a Fiora, you're sort of announcing, hey, we're going to be split push. We're looking to play more the 1-4 play style here. I think Skarner, the one benefit is Skarner's sort of able to somewhere like roam between the two sets, where it's sort of like a 1-3 with like a Skarner floating in between. But it doesn't offer a lot for that strategy, whereas you see Cherry Blossom Knights taking the Sylas and Zac. So they have a really powerful team fight now, right? You have Silas, who is able to steal away Skarner's ultimate, and as well as Zai's ultimate for disengage purposes. He doesn't get a ton of benefit into landing into the Fiora with it. But what's also interesting is when you lock in Silas first as a mid laner, or it could be flex top here, but yeah, as a laner, you're sort of also forcing the enemy to be very mindful of what ultimate they are going to pick up, as the Ahri does get locked in for Parallax Gaming here. I have a couple concerns with Parallax Gaming's sort of composition here. The Xayah works really well with the Fiora. Xayah is one of the most ideal 1-4 champions, where you can sort of wave clear efficiently. Sivir, Xayah, those are really good champions you want to pick up when you are planning on running a 1-4. I think Ahri works pretty well in that as well, because you have the mobility around and whatnot. The problem is you have Zac, who has a really easy time initiating onto that. As it looks like we are going to see the Mordekaiser top and the Silas mid coming in from Cherry Blossom Knights.
Soon,
so confirmation
none will question us.
As far as what we're seeing coming out of the draft, and as we have the locked-in compositions here, I really like Cherry Blossom Knights composition. They have a really solid team-oriented composition. They have a hyper-scaling AD carry. They have Sivir. They have Silas, who gets infinitely stronger as the game goes on. They've got Mordekaiser, who's a monster in his own right. Although he won't be able to match Fiora in the side lane after a certain point because, well, it's Fiora. You are going to have this monstrosity of a front line between Silas, Zac, and Mordekaiser just eating all the damage that Parallax Gaming has. And they don't have a lot of AoE. They only have Xayah and Ahri. Right? You have Fiora Duelist, you have Scar in the jungle for picks, and you have Ahri Xayah. Whereas for... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, Parallax Gaming, when you look at the composition as a whole, they're not exactly the team fighting that you want to see out of a full composition if they're looking to have those hefty fights. They're more about this pick and burst, right? Ahri is very good at sectioning off one person with the charm and then bursting them down. Maybe not a full execution like you might get out of Akali, but you drop them incredibly low and maybe the rest of your team can finish off their tiny bit of health left over. And then you have Xayah, who can bring a surprising amount of burst. You find yourself those feathers pulling back through a root, a couple more auto attacks in, and you burst them down. Skarner, again, not good in a big, multi-person 4 or 5 person fight. It's more about, let me impale one person, drag them into my team, we'll execute them quick. Which means for Parallax Gaming, it's all about playing around the vision, because if they don't have vision to know where Cherry Blossom Knights are going to be to find those picks, they're going to be in trouble. And to top that off, this side of Cherry Blossom Knights, they have some incredibly mobile champions of the Zac, of the Silas, even Sivir with On the Hunt, or Pyke with his ability to hop over walls is so potent at being able to get around quickly. And you have to not only layer that vision, but layer that vision deep. Because if you've got a Zac hopping in from a mile away, if you've got a Pyke jumping over walls to engage in the mid lane, if you've got a Silas who can chain hop into the team fight, you could find yourself in a little bit of trouble if they collapse faster. So key points to watch is around the Drake, around the Rift Herald, and around if a team, which I expect Cherry Blossom Knights to be the team to pull the trigger, try to do any tower dives with the Zac.
Yeah, and the one thing to mention about, we're talking about, for Parallax Gaming to have the sort of pick potential between the Ahri and the Skarner, we also have to be mindful that with Cherry Blossom Knights, they have, first of all, they have Mordekaiser, right? If you can apprehend, he also has a pick potential. We have Zac, who is obviously another person who's very capable of finding picks and allowing his team to follow up on it. We have Silas, who can just hijack the Impale, right? So he can take away that pick thing for himself. We have Sivir, who's able to utilize On the Hunt to move the whole team forward into collapsing on someone. And we have Pyke with multiple ways of picking. Like all 5 of them have some utility or CC involved that assists in the pick side of things. So honestly, to me, it just feels like an outdraft so far. Whereas like a lot of what I want to see coming out about teams, I think that while I am giving all this credit to Cherry Blossom Knights, saying this, I like this style of a composition they've built, you have on Parallax Gaming side, you still have the advantage of saying we have the better 1-4, the 4-1, right? Fiora at some point is going to become an absolute monster, and the one thing to keep in mind is if Fiora gets ahead, she can easily 1v2 the Mordekaiser and Zac, right? Especially because Mordekaiser loses his ability to ult the second he tries to force a 1v2 or a 2v1 situation, right? Zac can't help him in the Shadow Realm.
So you might not want to ult, or you might want to ult early and wait for the team to actually fall out of the Shadow Realm before, so that the Zac can then participate. Well, we are into game. We're going to go ahead and switch to our flyover of the beautiful Summoner's Rift as we have Cherry Blossom Knights taking on Parallax Gaming for round number 1 of this Scrim gym. And so far, it sounds like Parallax Gaming have drafted themselves a pretty a pretty rough composition into Cherry Blossom Knights, but being the favored team, the team that placed higher and was able to make it to that round 3 in last week's Scrim gym, maybe they got something up their sleeve that we're not expecting, and so they can find themselves a bit of a victory. We'll find out as we launch into the game and see that it is an Infernal Drake to start the game off with a little bit of heat.
Yeah, I think this is kind of what we're expecting to see, a 5-point. Neither team really has crazy level 1 potential, not too much CC. All of them need multiple abilities to be able to really utilize sort of like a cheese, narrowed area, sort of fighting like around bushes and whatnot. So I think this is what I expected to see, is neither team forcing any sort of gank or anything like that, playing it safe, playing it early. The one thing to keep in mind also is that because Parallax Gaming is running the Yuumi, they do have the teleport on Xayah as well, so they have triple TP on their side, which means one, they have the utility out of it, but also they don't actually lack the offensive summoner spells that you normally would, because Yuumi runs double offensive, like heal and ignite. So that's one of the other advantages into playing Yuumi, is you gain utility without losing the offensive summoner spell there.
So an interesting thing to note here is this very early control ward for the side of Cherry Blossom Knights on their own blue buff. Warm it up for the cast. Maybe expecting a Skarner to try some invade or something, and so they've got that very early down. I think it was actually maybe Mordekaiser that sacrificed that extra gold to be able to, I think he lost a potion to start on that top side by grabbing that control ward.
I think it was Zac.
Might be headed up there as well.
I think it was Zac who got the control ward, as he only needs the 1 pot with his jungle item. So I think Zac picked up the control ward, and Skarner already coming to the top lane.
Acenator 11, he's got that red buff. He's looking for the slow flashes and gets the stun. He's paired up with War Lives Matter. Can they find the kill? The Mordekaiser's already flashing. He's going to go down. First blood to Parallax Gaming. You say they've been out drafted. Well, they say we're going to come in hot and heavy with the aggression at the very beginning.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest advantages. There's another fight in the bot lane.
Little play on the bottom side. However, the Yuumi, she's been locked up. She's finally tethers. Last second, the Ignite's ticking down, but it doesn't matter. They've got the poke onto Sivir and dropping her down. XD has already burned all the spells and just walks away.
Yeah, so I mean, Sivir trying to fight and Xayah early on, a bit of a strange call there. The one thing I've really liked the way Warm Monks played that. When you're playing Yuumi, he positioned in front of Arat saying, hey, listen, I'm a squishy support, come get me, but can just immediately escape once he gets low. And now you have a full health Xayah you still have to worry about. So really well played out of the Parallax Gaming's bot lane there. I think that was very well executed. Referring quickly back to what happened in the first blood there, though, that's one of the biggest advantages of starting red buff on the red side of the map is man, look at Skarner. Even as we're talking about it, he's up here again getting ready to look for a gank, knowing that Mordekaiser doesn't have flash. But it's sort of like the Xin Zhao tactic, right? You start red level 1, you jump out of the enemy top laner. If they flash, you just follow with your own flash, and it's a guaranteed kill no matter what. So I like to see that play out of him. Let's see. Oh, no, why are you
just walks right in. Crystallization. Jeremy flips stun up. War Lives Matter, even tanking a turret. Will get the kill that time around. A little bit of fight here in that mid lane. Peel it up in the Muaji. Taking it back and forth. However, Heal It Up on the side. This is actually losing out little bit by little bit. Now on the bottom side, ooh, the flash forced out by Catinator. No mana, and the support was fighting for that Scuttle Crab at the time. This poke combo of the Xayah and Yuumi is working out so well for Parallax Gaming.
Yeah, I think it was just more so the over-aggression at Sivir. They're not respecting the 1v2 situation. Maybe hoping to pretend like Pyke was in the river brush there to try and prevent anything from happening. And ended up having to utilize Flash for no real reason, which hopefully won't be too much of a detriment for them later on. But like you mentioned, being outdrafted is one thing, but when we're seeing this sort of level of higher play coming out from across the board, basically, what does it matter at that point? Even though Skarner's down like 3 camps almost, you still have 2 KP already at 4.5 minutes in. 3.5 minutes in, involved in 2 kills. getting Fiora the lead. And like I was mentioning earlier on, if Fiora is the one who gets the lead, that's what lets their comp deal with the team fight-based composition of Cherry Blossom Knights. As Silas goes for the engage here in the middle.
And we'll see how much those chains can do. Kingslayer keeps him that trade about even. Dodges out in that orb at the last second there. But yeah, he's losing out in mana, and eventually, especially post 6, this Ahri will at least be able to escape almost every single fight because just the mobility with that ultimate. However, the Infernal Drake up on the map, those ultimates shortly to come into play. They're going to get those first backs, and we'll see what kind of collector thrift-store items they decide to get. The Silas going the Dark Seal, so he's expecting to be involved in a lot of fights.
Yeah, and one thing I forgot to mention earlier about the Mordekaiser and Fiora matchup is it's kind of unfortunate for Mordekaiser because his CC is one of the most telegraphed CCs in League of Legends, right? It is super easy for Fiora to set up parry off of it and get the guaranteed stun. So landing is also pretty rough for Mordekaiser, actually, especially when Fiora had the lead. One of the things about the Mordekaiser and the Fiora matchup is that you have to try and abuse Fiora early. But, I mean, because Ace Nader came in and got for the lead early on, he lost that window opportunity as well. So I really like to see the win condition priority we're seeing out of Parallax Gaming here. You were giving them a lot of credit early on, Jake, saying that, listen, don't count them out yet. Even though you're saying they're outdrafted, this team performed very well in the last Scrim tournament, and now we're seeing why.
About 1,000 gold up at the 6-minute mark. No team has made any moves towards that Infernal Drake, so it's still chilling there. We got a little bit yet for that Rift Herald to come up as War Lives Matter. Not going to dive in for that Vital Strike. Just going to get a little bit of extra damage. Woo, hold on. All right, the claws pulled back, but Jeremy Flip was already headed towards the turret.
Yeah, level discrepancy as well. Ward Lives Matter does have ultimate to utilize, whereas Jeremy Flip doesn't. So it has to be mindful of that as well. So far, Divelin really struggling to find too many opportunities on the board at the moment.
Yeah, you'd think that with that Zac, you'd be able to hop in from some huge distance, but you got to look at the lanes, right? Especially post 6, that Ahri is incredibly safe. Even if you get the initial knock-up, she's just going to 3-mini flash away and still has flash up and available. Fiora on the top side was down flash, but it's going to be up in a second, and was a level over the Mordekaiser, plus Zac was on the bottom side of the jungle for a period of time. You look to the bottom side, that would be the best idea, but pre-6. However, as that Xayah is now level 5, nearing to that level 6, that lane is going to be almost completely ungankable between the Feather Storm and the fact that Yumi's just untargetable while hooked on to that Xayah with the you and me.
Yeah, as I believe Skarner is now starting up the Dragon. That Inferno would mean it would be huge for them as Zac's positioned in the top lane.
See what he can do. Hops on Amp. Yeah, look at the lunge dash by the Fiora. Ward Lives Matter. Just doesn't even care. Just a little bit of a lunge to the side and walks back to the turret. Has an entire wave to catch as well. Not too concerned about that. And so they back away, and there's nothing for them to trade on the top side of the map for this Infernal Drake that went practically for free over to Parallax Gaming.
Yeah, weren't even able to blow a summoner from Ward Lives Matter on the top lane. So really we're seeing a level of just overall macro outplay coming in from Parallax Gaming here. I want to see Cherry Blossom Knights slow things down a bit, not look for too many aggressive plays, saying, listen, we're the scaling team fight base. Oh, Zac.
All right, they play into the mid lane. That's actually a good choice by Divelin, taking a couple of turret shots on the way out, but the lack of mana on this Ahri, forcing her to flash. She didn't have enough mana for that ultimate. Really nice catch there in that mid.
Yeah, but look at this play coming out of Ace Nader now, saying, oh, you ate 2 tower shots in mid lane, forcing my mid laner's flash, so now you're going to lose your jungle. Immediately goes in for the invade play. I really have to give a lot of props to the Ace Nader 11 is playing this game so far.
Respect for the punish, stealing away that buff. I think that the side of Cherry Blossom Knights even figured that out a little bit. There was that ping coming down saying, you know what, Skarner may be in the jungle, considering that shrine just went down. So Divelin will kind of walk in to see his red buff gone missing. We do have that level 6 now by Ace Nader, so that Impale opportunity is up and available. And we'll see where they start to use it, because it is one of those abilities that while it's super, super nice, you do have to actually use it, and you could sit for a very long time not doing much. Ultimate's called the top lane. World Lives Matter dashing on in, finding one of those Vital Strikes, needs the other 2. Not going to get it, though, as he is back to that turret. Zac going to be engaging there in the river. Just a little hop in. Both teams kind of breaking away. Jeremy Flip goes aggressively. He gets a shield, though. He's trying to turn it around. The claw brings it back, and the slam with with the Q. Jeremy Flip turns the fight around with the help of the turret. Takes down the Fiora the 1v1.
Yeah, and this is a little bit of disrespect coming from Mordekaiser. They're definitely jumping in too deep. Should have been aware of the fact that Mordekaiser has a shield he's able to utilize. But another thing to note is even though he had a lot of pressure on him early on, Jeremy Flip is up 25 CS, 24 CS on the top lane. That's pretty impressive given how much pressure he had on him early and that Fiora was able to pick up a kill early on as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with simply the ability to kind of smash through the minion wave with that obliterate, as well as just being a bit more of an AoE champion. There's that Yuumi using the final chapter in the bottom lane, looking for the root onto the Sivir. They're going to be able to find her. However, the teams are TPing on, and Divalin is here, but he's going to be turned into a bunch of bloblets. We'll see if Asinator can find that kill. Mordekaiser's down here. There's the Impale, pulling the Mordekaiser towards that turret. The feathers are going to pull back, not going to find the root, though. The heal from Jeremy Flip not going to be used, just the shield. Asinator's in trouble because the Pike has found his number. He's going to try for a second one onto the Xayah. Not going to be able to get it, though. Yumi's there with the heal. The feathers are going to be pulled back. It's not going to be enough. Divalin in trouble. It's going to go down, and some Muaji shows up. And now the TP from healing here saying, I don't want to be left out of the fight. Let me get in here as well. XD and me still hanging around, but they're going to call off the play as the turret with all plates up and no wave says Cherry Blossom Knights. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, and that was an overall 1-for-1, despite how chaotic that was. There was 2 TPs utilized from Cherry Blossom Knights and just a rotate down actually from Waji. So overall, Summoner Spell, victory for Parallax Gaming. But what a chaotic fight that was. It lasted a good amount of time as well. We weren't sure what was going to happen.
Everyone was getting involved. TPs from basically everyone except for the Fiora, who's in the top lane. Just trying to get a little bit of catching up on that CS versus that Mordekaiser. And you can see that even with, though, the being down a member. Hold on, a little bit of play on the bottom side. Pike might be in a bit of trouble. He's been slow. He's going to dash away. All right. Easy to get out of that one. But I was trying to say is even being in theory, man down without Fiora being involved in the bottom lane fight, they still were able to find some success. And so Parallax Gaming, it's just these micro movements by the players.
Coming in.
Heal it up. Gonna be diving on. He's gonna get charmed up for a moment. Steals away the Ahri ultimate, though. So there he goes, dashing his way out. Pretty nice ultimate if you're in trouble to grab.
Yeah, looks like Carter will be able to pick up a free scuttle off of this. The Mordekaiser's rotating down. Not too much communication happening right now from Cherry Blossom Knights on some of these plays. I wanna see more of evidence that they're talking to each other. A bit of a fight. This could be the Impale coming down. No.
Oh, nice smite by Asinator. Yeah, he was just looking for that Scuttle Crab. Was able to smite it away from the Mordekaiser. Zach wasn't really in a position to be able to try to grab that. I believe it was Mordekaiser's in the red.
Undertow lands.
Around. Good hook in the bottom side. That's the stun landing. However, the final chapter by Yuumi going to root up the Sivir for a moment. And just enough to call off the play. However, Cat and Nader still has on the hunt and could use it if they want to try to re-engage. Impale used the mid lane. Look for the Silas. The Charm's going to land as well. However, he's going to dash away from that. He's going to go right back on in. Divalin still here getting a little bit of a bouncy house going on. Ace and Nader's health is dropping down and heal it up. Will slay him. And now Cat and Nader flashing away for the feathers, but it's still going to be falling back to the mid lane. It's going to be Zach finishing off the Ahri as well. Once the Tiki Skarner went down, that was it. XCME finishes off the bottom lane. Xayah, however, doesn't use the reset on the ultimate for Ariad. I think he might have actually missed it. Otherwise, there's no reason why he wouldn't use it. Now, World Lives Matter gonna be looking for his own life matters in that top lane. In the Spirit Realm, dashing away, trying to delay as long as possible. It will time out. So Jeremy Flip gonna be left alone for the moment. However, Zach is gonna be coming on in, looking for the dive. World Lives Matter able to sidestep the knockup for a moment. Now the turret shots onto the Zach as well. And the Obliterate Hammer comes down again. Jeremy Flip with the accuracy, picking it off. We have a tied kills game and 1,000 gold lead for Cherry Blossom Knights.
Yeah, and now we're starting to see the compositions come online a little bit more. I think a lot of this, sort of talking about earlier, is where I wanted to see Cherry Blossom might slow it down a bit. A lot of their composition, oh no, as the blue buff reset comes in. Ooh. Not being able to take away, that is a feels bad.
Xayah on the chase. Ooh, hook from XD and me.
That is a Cloud Drake available though, and before I analyze before I was talking, I want to mention that if Parallax Gaming was able to get that Cloud Drake, it would be huge for them. That is one of the most powerful buffs when you're running a 1-4 style composition. Looks like they are going to commit to this, and Pike's it's about half health with no ultimate available, so most likely a free one going over to them. But
Sivir's going to try to steal. Oh, that was actually close.
Rift is started up by Zach on the top side. I think if they're able to break I want to see if they can break the mid lane action, enable Silas to rotate more around the map. Either that or allow the bot lane to rotate on the top side of the map utilizing it there. What I was talking about earlier is this is where you see Cherry Blossom Knight's composition come online a lot more. You have Mordekaiser, who takes a little bit to start doing a lot of damage. You've got Silas, who takes quite a bit of time before he comes online. He's more of a late game champion, and Sivir, a late game champion. So whereas I think for Parallax Gaming, Fiora's fairly strong in duels even early on. Ari's pretty strong in lane early on. So I think it was just a lot of, oh man, the Hiveland's putting tons of pressure now.
And somehow, I don't know if that was truly calculated or just luck, but actually managed to jump in there before the ultimate from the Muaji was actually back up. However, it's up now as Tura was a bit too scary for Cherry Blossom Knights and mid laners to dive in on that. As Jeremy flips still in the 1v1 versus World Lives Matter. They're not going to carry that too much further. Now the Zac hopping on, and is his accuracy good? It is. There's the knock-up. The TP coming in as well. Let's see if Fiora can't escape. The parry is good. She's running away. Here comes the Ahri. She's looking for the charm. Jeremy Flip will take the Fiora on a murder spree in the Spirit Realm. Finishing her off once again is Muaji now in a little bit of trouble. Obliterate. She's going to knock the Ahri down to about half, and that's going to be all she wrote.
Undertow does connect on the Skarner. Not too much more happening there, though. Not sure why Heal Up didn't utilize that impale there. Fighting the bot lane as well, all over the map.
We'll play with the final chapter from the Yumi. They're going to take down Sivir. Pretty easy setup without a support. That mid lane, they were looking for the, I guess it was Skarner, as Ahri was towards that top side of the map, but a great punish from Parallax Gaming, the bottom side. However, they're going to lose first turret. It's going to go to Cherry Blossom Knights. They're going to try to respond bottom lane. No, they're just going to back and now head towards the mid lane, but the Rift Herald's already taken down a second turret as well. Two quick turrets, and the two most important turrets of the game going to Cherry Blossom Knights.
Yeah, just to confirm real quick, Jake, what time are you at?
16, 37, 38, 39,
okay,
40,
all for you.
43, 44, 45,
Yep.
46, 47, 48,
We're
49.
good, we're good, we're
Good
online.
enough. 7 kills to 7, a 3,000 gold lead by Cherry Blossom Knights, and they are looking good. We had somebody in the chat, I believe it was the Cyborg Jesus, was saying that you're like, hey, you know what? It's going to be first place for Parallax Gaming every single event that they play in after their second place last week. Well, they're looking a little bit rough at the moment. They need to pull this 1-4 comp online, get those picks down, use the Skarner ulti and the Ahri charm. Otherwise, they might find themselves just pulled across the map due to the high mobility of Cherry Blossom Knights players.
And I think we're going to love props early to Ace-Nader saying, oh man, he's just all over the map, putting all this pressure top lane. We sort of saw a bit of a stall coming in from him where he wasn't able to find too many opportunities. You know, he's level 9 now. We really haven't seen too many impactful impales coming in yet at all. Looking for those picks, finding those opportunities. There's no reason for him to not come back to the top lane and re-secure a lead for the Fiora, especially the second he got impaled. It's like a guaranteed kill on a Mordekaiser. Even if he uses the ult. Oh, good play out of Jeremy Flip. He's taking though.
Oh, flashes away from that obliterate, and the turret's gonna go down. Jeremy Flip, well calculated on the top side, but just as you're saying, Ace-Nader, it's a very powerful ultimate, but if you never use it, what is that power good for? That impale, I believe, has only been used once, maybe twice this entire game, which is a little bit surprising. And on top of that, they've got a Winder Drake, even more of a reason to be able to get in, grab the target that
and
you
Predator.
want, and drag them out. Predator as well is going to mention that on top of it. So this is a very, very speedy boy when he wants to try to impale somebody. However, their grouping from this team is just not online at the moment. They are kind of running that 1-3-1, and with that Ahri left alone the bottom side of the map, I don't know that that's the best choice for them.
Yeah, and you know, sort of talking the other side of it is Scar not able to get the impale. I think he was looking for it that time. Is that we have Divalin, who's actually been doing really well post-Nix, putting tons of pressure on the map. You're going from 0-0-0 to 1-1 and 4 now. We're chasing down heavily, trying to secure this next dragon, I believe, as we have an Infernal spawning in 20 seconds, because Parallax Gaming does already have one of their own. Might now see Cherry Blossom Knights wanting to secure an Infernal Drake of their own for this game, which would mean a lot for them as well when you have champions like Mordekaiser and Sivir on your team.
Asinator is still around the corner, though, so he knows that this Infernal Drake is going to be happening. He's joined by Ariad at the moment. Yuumi is coming out of the base. Warmock's not there just yet. Muaji coming up from the bottom side of the map. War Lives Matter putting pressure on the top side, even taking 2 turret shots to actually tear that turret down. Nice parry for the moment on those claws, and now the fight around the red buff going to start up. Asinator going in. They found the charm straight into the impale. They're looking for the pike, and they've gotten him as well. The ult going to take down Diabolin. He's just going to go into a bit of those blob blitz. Is Ariad going to be in trouble? Drop low. The boomerang is good from Catinator. Now they can turn on to War Lives Matter. The Fiora's trying to do what she can, but the ultimate's not going to be near enough. Diabolin's diving to the backside. Warmox is in trouble. Goodbye to the Yuumi. And the spirit round the Muaji is just left all alone. It finally times out, but the rest of the team is right there to smack them down for the ace. A 5-for-1 fight going to Cherry Blossom Knights.
Yeah, 5-for-1, and it sort of went exactly like I expected. I don't know why they tried to look for a team fight based sort of thing there. Fiora is not strong at all yet. You cannot look for a 5v5 fight when you have monsters like a fed Mordekaiser and a fed Silas on your team. On the enemy team. Those are just not smart fights to look for. And especially when you know just sheer composition wise, you have Zac, Silas, Sivir, Pike, Mordekaiser. You know what you don't do? You don't look for a team fight when you have a Yuumi and Fiora on your team. That does not equate to a strong 5v5, especially when you don't have a lead. Not only are you at a disadvantage composition in a team fight, but you're also down gold. You're down kills, you're down gold. You're in an overall losing situation. So unless they had managed to find a pick, I think the better play for them there would have been to just try and pressure them off the dragon and pull back, bait a TP or something like that, and just look to play that dance game while Fiora continues to get back into the game by farming through the top lane.
So now they are finding themselves down 4,500 gold. And the side of Cherry Blossom Knights are looking pretty clean so far this game. Yeah, they've had a couple of minor mistakes at the very beginning of the game, especially not respecting the ability for Skarner to find those early engages. But since then, their overall team play has been pretty darn good and looking really powerful with this Mordekaiser currently 4-2-2 as they're going to invade the topside jungle.
Yeah, absolutely. And now the next objective, as mentioned, is a Baron on the map. But I like to see this out of Cherry Blossom Knights. They know that they have this strong T-Flank composition. Now they're grouping up.
Right here in the mid lane, they might be looking for the inhibitor after being able to take this one. Ariad going to be in a little bit of trouble. He's going to go down. Jeremy Flip with the obliterate. He's going to take the Fiora to the spirit realm. Come play with me, he says. Warmox tries to escape, but is going to be torn down by those boomerangs catching him out. War Lives Matter still bouncing around. Comes out of the spirit realm straight into the XD's waiting arms. Dixonator going to try to impale and pull back one member, and he will be taking down the Zac, the blob man himself, but that is a small price to pay for winning the team fight. It's a 2-for-4. They're going to get themselves a middle inhibitor. We'll see if they can grab anything else or if they just back away and prep for the Baron.
At this point, I mean, it's going to be really, really hard for Parallax to come back from this. The gold, you have a 6k gold deficit at 22.5 minutes in. You're down a mid inhib. You now have Baron on the board, which is going to be really hard to contest if you even want to take that chance at all. It's just it's going to be the best bet that Parallax Gaming has at this point. If they just play the turtle game. They only farm through the mid lane supers. Fiora needs to be in a side lane playing under tower with vision in the jungle to avoid getting collapsed on by the Zac getting picked out there, and just wait till Fiora can 1v1 Mordekaiser. Once you hit a point where Fiora is able to win the side lane 1v1, you can then look to make your composition come online, which is really what they need to do right now.
16 kills, 210. Go ahead, sorry.
No, there's not too much happening on the board right now, but we are starting to see Cherry Blossom Knights put a little pings on the map before the Baron saying, hey guys, let's start setting this up. This is our next move to play towards. Fiora might be able to pick up a tower in the bottom for Mordekaiser. Gets there, I'm not too sure. The Rylas on Mordekaiser really makes it hard for Fiora to look for any plays down there. Especially when we look at the gold gap. We have a 2k gold lead on the Mordekaiser, as Baron is now started up by Cherry Blossom Knights, but we have healed it up. great seeing vision of over the wall.
This might be the last fight of the game. They finally got an Impale on to heal it up. He's going to flash away, take the Proto Belda as well to gain that distance. The Baron is going to be called off, though, from Cherry Blossom Knights. Not going to start it up yet. Keep in mind, though, there are super minions inside the base of Parallax Gaming. Fiora is trying to head off the minion wave that is headed there right now, so it could end up being a 4v5 fight as Fiora's not here. Zac hopping in from a mile away. Not going to catch anyone out on the hunt. Still going to be called. The Pike stepping forward. Can he find a Bone Skewer? No, he's not. The Chains Missiles are also going to miss everyone for the side of Cherry Blossom Knights, whiffing their engaged tools, so they walk away empty-handed.
Yeah, and also with fairly low health bars, a couple of members were on half health. Heal it up in Catinator, not being in optimal health positions for the next fight. And now it's actually Parallax Gaming putting a little bit of pressure on the map, trying to find a pick.
Oh, that's good. Zac once again re-engaging. Divalin, seeing what he can do. He is backed up by that pipe for the moment. However, the members of Cherry Blossom Knights are split up. They're looking for the Muaji. Ori's on the run. She's taken to the Spirit Realm. She's just hopping over walls, escaping the Mordekaiser for a while yet. Divalin's bouncing out of 3 members of the backline. However, the Yumi is still untargetable. They might be able to take him down. He's going to be turned into blobs. Word lives matter. Druichi can't dashing in and out of the fight. In the meantime, the Muaji is around the backside of the fight. They've taken down the Zac. A huge root by the Zaya. However, she's still going to be taken down by the Boomerangs. The late game Sivir is tearing through everyone, taking down 2 members. It's a double kill so far. Good dash by the Fiora to get herself and the Yumi out. Look at them, slivers on the health bars, and the Ahri gonna back as well. However, this still might be Cherry Blossom Knights pushing in. They're not going to go for the Baron. Instead, they're going to fight inside the enemy team's base. They've got 1 super minion here for the Nexus turrets. War Lives Matter dashing for the Muaji. Going to be stepping forward, trying to get that Yumi ultimate to multiple members. They find the route onto Catinator. However, can they find anything else? Because War Lives Matter is down under half health. However, they've stopped the fight for the moment. That's going to be the going golden for the Mordekaiser. Jeremy flip dropping low. Oh, great snipe by War Monks with the Prowling Projectile. And now they're on the run as Skarnar comes feeding on in. He's got the speed boost and TP in from Fiora as well. This might be the ace for Parallax Gaming. They take down the Mordekaiser. The shutdown gold is huge. Heal it up. Going to be grabbing a little bit of health. Catinator turning around for 1 auto attack, finishing off the Fiora. And now the Prowling Projectile spell shield by Cat, and everybody's still gonna be dropping. Oh, as the Nojaji gonna be going forward. Zac up again, trying to save his teammate. The Sivir is alive. The Sivir is down. The Zaya shows up just in time for the shutdown. Divalin down to about half health. Alright, they're not gonna find any more kills. They got double super minions here. However, 3 members of Cherry Blossom Knights went down in that re-engagement for Parallax Gaming.
Yeah, Zac's still up, so they might not be able to for the full Baron here. War Monk's only on Sliver of health, but the play out of Acenator, they're landing the Smite to take away Sivir's spell shield, allowing the Yumi Q to connect was huge for that play, basically guaranteeing the kill onto Sivir there. Couple pings coming on the teleports. You do have the Mordekaiser teleport still available, especially if I think they expected Parallax Gaming to be there. Surprised at not finding there, they might now threaten the Baron of their own. Secure vision for at the very least, although XDME did just get dropped about 30% HP from Baron, which not an ideal situation for him.
I gotta give some credit to Warmox on these Prowling Projectiles. It's just kind of one of those things that not only is a little bit of annoying with that poke, but also slows Cherry Blossom Knights in their engagements time and time again when they go to be stepping forward. And while they certainly have enough members, they can force something if they really, really want it. Yumi's definitely doing a good job kind of saying, hey, you know what? You're going to be a little bit slower to engage, maybe not being all the members in. The middle inhibitor for Parallax Gaming has respawned, absolutely crucial as the Baron dance begins once more.
Yeah, but again, it's still totally to the advantage of Cherry Blossom Knights to play to the Baron side of the map. They know that just because of the fact that even just 1 or 2 members threading up there, no one from Parallax Gaming is going to go down and check on the Ocean Drake. It's just a free pickup for them because they're not going to risk losing Baron by just checking it. So I think that Cherry Blossom Knights playing this pretty well. What I want to see them do is now look to take their advantage to the top side and have I guess Mordekaiser TP'd in. Normally I would say, if you have TP available, look to play to the bot side. But I want to see them group up and bait Parallax Gaming in to come check some brushes. Get some pink vision down to these brushes. Right now they don't have too many pinks over there. And just play the Fnatic.
Oh, Ward Lives Matter. Spell immune. Are you kidding me? How much did she parry there? Still probably going to fall. The cleanse for a moment, but the Pike ultimate is good. They're looking for Muaji. The steal by the Silas. Stealing by that ultimate. Trying to find that re-engagement. Chains are going to land. Now the Zaya going to be maybe in a little bit of trouble. Finds the root. Throws out that Feather Storm, but it's so incredibly early. In the meantime, Acenator trying to run away. He's got that Yumi for a couple of extra heals. That's the final chapter. Locking multiple members down. Acenator's going in, but Pike has found himself dying as he dives on immediately into the Ahri. And now Mordekaiser goes going gold, and Jeremy Flip was able to finish off the Skarner. I believe that was in the Spirit Realm. But they have found themselves, so far, a 2-4-2 fight. There's still 3 members of Parallax Gaming up, but there's no frontline tank, so they're going to have to just deal damage to win this one out. Ari74 has that Yumi's feeling a little bit better, trying to land this flying projectile, but spell shielded by Catinator once again. Yumi's
yeah,
gonna hop
right
on
now,
area. Go ahead.
They need to try and they need to reset. It's a risky dance. I don't want to put. You have Yumi who's just going to heal everyone. It's almost like a Soraka at this point. All the heals coming down. They need to reset, revive so you can get the gold, buy some items. A couple members sitting on 1,700 gold on the Sivir. Got about 1,200 on the Mordekaiser. Pick up some items, reset, play around Baron. Again, you want to play this dance. It was a good pick they found on the Fiora. The only difference is there was no reason to pursue the fight any further. Once you find that pick, reset. Come back to Baron. Play the same game, right? You don't need to chase. You don't have to ace them. Once you're now in a 5v4 situation, you either force the Baron or threaten it again, get another pick, and just keep doing the same thing, rinse and repeat.
And one of the big things from Parallax Gaming is they're actually starting to get some pretty big items. We're past 30 minutes into the game, and while the gold is still large for Cherry Blossom Knights, about 4,000 gold, that is getting less and less significant as the game continues. The Xayah not only had 3 items during that last fight, but now also has a QSS, so it's going to be a little bit harder to actually find that pick between the Featherstorm and the QSS area. Very, very safe. You also have 2.5 major items completed by the Ahri. She's almost finished off her Zhonya's as well. So there's definitely some big, powerful items coming out from Parallax Gaming, and the opportunity for them to be able to win another fight like they won in that mid lane in their base, to be able to get that inhibitor to respawn, is becoming more and more a possibility. They've done a great job of delaying these Barons and just kind of dancing around it, playing the dance very, very well to make sure they never lose that Baron and also never lose their base.
Yeah, no, like you said, we have to give a lot of props that even though we're talking about, oh, Cherry Boss wants to do this and to do that, Parallax Gaming has not let the Baron go yet. This dance has been going on for over 8 minutes now, and it's sort of a rinse and repeat situation here. We're seeing all trinkets basically down 24/7, nothing ever being available. And now we have Sylas with TP, which is what I like to see. You're going to see Sylas now go to the bot lane with a TP advantage and look to try and pull members of Parallax Gaming away from this.
However,
Parallax,
Parallax Gaming could go ahead and try to start up a fight, considering that they have all 5 members here. The Baron's going to be started up by Cherry Blossom Knights, but Sylas is not really in position to threaten. He's all the way back. They're going to find that stun onto Ascendanator. He's going to dash forward. He's going to get that QSS out of Catinator. Now, in the meantime, the Yumi ultimate use going to be just tying up the pike, so he's going to fall. Ascendanator in the Ghost Realm just going to survive for a little bit longer. Jeremy Flip still going to be able to take him down. The Fiora is going to fall as well. It's still, once again, the damage dealers for Parallax Gaming that are alive, but they have to deal with Jeremy Flip. In the meantime, Sylas did TP, and so it's again that 3-for-3, and no one going to take a full fight advantage. The front line from both teams keep dying, and the back line just backs away.
Yeah, XDME really went a little bit too early on that play, wanting to try and get the pick up with Skarner, but they don't really have burst damage to try and burst someone down, especially when it's the tankiest member of Parallax Gaming. I think landing the Q on him was fine, but looking for the Undertow was a little bit greedy, a little bit overzealous, I'm going to say. I think at this point, you need to be very careful of, hey, all the players of Cherry Blossom Gaming that can find pickers, hey, who do we really need to apply our CC onto? The one advantage is we do have the 3rd Inferno of the game now spawning, which is going to go over to Cherry Blossom Knights without any kind of contest. At this point, once this Baron Tango is just not working, you've tried a couple times, it's not going the way you want it, reevaluate your playstyle. Look to play through mid, force the inhib or something, push it in, then once you're able to put some more ground pressure down, then you can look to wait as
Sylas has stolen the Skarner ultimate. That Impale going to be used to pull him in. However, the TP coming in from the Fiora on the bottom side, but they've already finished off the Skarner. Now Fiora might be in a little bit of trouble. Ward Life doesn't matter, dashing and lunging away. Gonna go ahead and parry for a little bit. However, Zac is flashing on in. They found the Xayah. Warmonk's going to be going away, but it's just to disappear into the double kill of the Sivir. Yumi falls as well. Jeremy Flip on a murdering spree as they find the pick that they needed on the Skarner. That Sylas coming in huge once again. We've seen him tear through games before. Steals away the Skarner ultimate, and now they're on to the Nexus inhibitors. The Nexus turret, excuse me.
Yeah, overall, it was just they were finally able to find the pick they needed, and again, it came from the fact that, like you mentioned, you had the Silas who was able to steal away the impale and managed to use it on Skarner to actually, I believe, cancel his impale because of the buffering system. So pretty well played, and this is sort of where I mentioned that compositionally, it was just an overall outdraft.
And they
Very well
didn't
played by
have to
Kratos.
wait till the Elder Drake spawned. That's what I was kind of expecting, was that they were going to keep delaying until the Elder Drake spawned and then try to have 2 members be at the Elder Drake, the other 3 just dancing around Baron, grab the Elder Drake, then go in for a big fight by that Baron to be able to secure the win. But Parallax Gaming, despite some really good delays and incredible early game aggression, still end up falling to the Cherry Blossom Knights. The great thing about the Scrim Gym, though, is that they can sign back up to rejoin next week and try their hand once more at getting back into that round 3 first place spot. So Cherry Blossom Knights going to be moving forward. Any thoughts on them as we send them off to face whoever their opponent is? And I have to check really quick. I don't know if that game is over yet.
Couple notes: keep drafting the way you're drafting. I think the draft went really well for them. I think they were able to get rid of characters they didn't want to play against. I think that the Champions Select went perfectly for them. I think that they need to be cognizant of when they're strong and when they're not early on, taking a lot of fights they need to take. Being overzealous, like in the bot lane, when you have Xayah Yuumi, who's very strong, level 2, versus Pyke Sivir. If you are going to go for the fight, you can't be focusing with the Yuumi. She'll just jump back in his eye, and you've lost the whole advantage you had. So just being aware of when you spike and what your advantage, what your early game win conditions are. And to Divalin, I want to give props to Divalin, who, even though there was a lack of pressure early on, managed to find tons and tons of opportunities as the game continued forward. I think being able to find some of those opportunities earlier on would also help for a cleaner outcome.
All right, well, that is going to be it for us for the moment, but we're going to be coming right back for another game just after this. We're switching to the other side of the bracket. The Cherry Blossom Knights will be taking on Sway GG, another tournament favorite, so we'll have to see how they do after their game, but we're going to be checking in with SPK Embers, the first place team from last week, taking on Why Are You Running, a regular around here in the Excellency parts, but you'll have to stick around to find out what happens in that game, as that will be right up next. We'll be taking a quick break and be right back.